Welcome to the We Are the Indiana Dunes Business Strategies webinar. My name is Lorelei Weimer, and I am the Executive Director for Indiana Dunes Tourism, which is the official destination marketing and development organization for Porter County. And I just want to thank all of you for joining us today. The purpose of this webinar is to give you ideas and tips for your business as all of us navigate these very unusual times. You know, when you look at the words on this page, these are the words we are bombarded with on a daily basis, and it can be very stressful. But that's not what our goal is today. It's not to talk about these words. What we want to talk about is that during these times, we have an opportunity to work together, create stronger communities, and we have an opportunity to help redefine our future. All of you that comprise the hospitality industry, which are restaurants, hotels, attractions, shops, arts, festivals and events, parks and recreation, and much more, all of your businesses are very valuable to Porter County. You know, it's the collectiveness of these businesses that define who we are, gives our communities their unique personality, and is the reason why people choose to live here, why people want to move here, why visitors want to come here, why businesses that are outside the hospitality industry want to move here, stay here, and expand. So you are an extremely valuable asset to that quality of place that we have in Porter County. The topics that we're going to cover today are some resources that we think you will find valuable. We are the Indiana Dunes, and how the Indiana Dunes can grow your business. That's an important topic to talk about. We're going to give you tips and ideas for your business. We're going to give you ideas of how we can work together and talk about what our organization is doing. Now, this presentation is not only in a video format, but it is also available in a PDF. If you do get the PDF, just know that the PDF has hot links in it. So if you look at it electronically, those hot links will take you directly to the websites that we are showing. Now, here are some resources we think you may find valuable. First of all, this is the Indiana Dunes tourism staff. Each of us is listed there with our name, our title, just a quick overview of what each of us does, as well as our email address. We are here to help you. So if you need a particular question answered, or if there is something that we talk about today that you would like to go a little bit deeper on, feel free to reach out to any one of our staff. And to just give you an example, if you're wanting to know more about like Facebook advertising, you would contact Michelle. But if you're wanting to look at website development or photography, then you would go to Christine. But what we want to leave with you is that we are here as a resource, so please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Now, these are all direct links to websites that we think you may find valuable. The Porter County government site is very important because they are giving real-time COVID-19 updates on their dashboard, and they also can direct you to places where you can be tested if by chance you or a family member thinks that they may have COVID-19. If you look at the link at the bottom, you will see that this will take you directly to Governor Holcomb videos. This is on his Facebook page, and they are doing regular press conferences to update people on the COVID crisis. A lot of our news comes from Chicago, so a lot of the times we're not getting that Indiana news, so this is a wonderful resource. Also, the Indiana Restaurant and Lodging Association is giving a lot of updates. I would recommend you getting on their email list so that you know when they are doing some Facebook Live feeds. Even though you may not be a member, they are still allowing you to access this information, so a great resource. And then finally, U.S. Travel Association. They have wonderful information about the CARES package, and this is the group that is fighting hard in Washington, D.C. to provide funding for small businesses, especially small hospitality businesses. They know how hard our industry is being hit. And so right now they are trying to get additional money put into the CARES fund so that more money is available to our businesses. So a lot of great information, and I would encourage you to use that link as well. We have been contacted by several businesses that have said they cannot find hand sanitizers. So just across the border in Three Oaks, Michigan is Journeyman Distillery. They are producing hand sanitizers. So this is the link. When you go to the link, it'll take you to their homepage. You want to look at the very top on a bar up there, and you will be able to get information about the hand sanitizer. And then there's Tilden Enterprises. Tilden's is located in Porter, Indiana. It's a family-owned business since 1947, and they carry a lot of cleaning products. They do not have hand sanitizer in terms of in the pump. They do have wall dispensers, and they do not have sanitation wipes or sanitation aerosols. But they do have a lot of other sanitizers that are CDC approved, and they do have toilet paper and paper towels and a lot of great products. So they deliver 5 days a week, and they are very knowledgeable on their supplies. So I would encourage you to get in touch with them if you do need supplies. Now, one of the things we're going to be talking about the Indiana Dunes, and the reason for that is it's a great opportunity to use the Indiana Dunes to grow your business. We work with travel and tourism consultants that work on a national and international basis, and we have been able to work with them over the years to help us with our branding, our marketing, our product development, and as well as our research. And one of the things we find consistently with these experts when they come to our area is they are amazed at the Indiana Dunes. They are amazed at the attraction that we have in our destination. They said, do you know how many destinations would die to have that kind of an attraction? But the thing that surprises them the most, and this is a big surprise, is that there is a disconnect between the Indiana Dunes and our communities and the businesses within our communities. They said that is highly unusual. If you go to a destination that has this level of an attraction, which is an international attraction, there's a strong connection between the communities. And so this is a weakness of our area, but any weakness can be an opportunity, and we are looking at this as an opportunity. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just give you some background on the significance of the Indiana Dunes, and then give you tips on how you can connect your business to the Indiana Dunes and hopefully grow your business because of that connection. So we are the Indiana Dunes. The Indiana Dunes is not this island that sits alone. All of the communities within Porter County are a part of Indiana Dunes country, and we need to be a part of that. The Indiana Dunes has 2 park systems. A lot of people don't know this. Not only visitors don't know this, but a lot of residents don't know this, that we have both a national and state park, which is significant to have 2 parks in one destination. The Indiana Dunes at its peak, and that's in 2019, attracted 3.6 million visitors. Now, what's going to happen is when we start to come out of this crisis, we are going to look back at our destination, and we have to create those benchmarks. And those are those benchmarks that we're going to be trying to achieve in the future. And so we're going to be talking about what was the destination like pre-coronavirus. And so what we do know is that in 2019, we had 3.6 million visitors to the Indiana Dunes. In 2019, a significant thing happened in our destination. In February 15th of 2019, the Indiana Dunes National Lakeshore became the Indiana Dunes National Park. One word changed. It went from lakeshore to park, but that one word change was significant. There are 419 national parks in the country. Only 62 have the distinction of being an official national park, and we are in that exclusive list. Just to give you a perspective of the significance of the Indiana Dunes, we have 3.6 million visitors. It's important to know that that visitation is a combination of both the state park and the national park visitation statistics. When you compare that to the other official national parks, we are 7th in the nation in terms of recreational visits. We are right under Yellowstone National Park. So where do the visitors come from? Well, only 20% of the visitors to the national and state park come from Northwest Indiana. 80% are from outside our region, and 60% of those visitors are coming from outside the state of Indiana, which is significant. In 2019, what we were able to measure is what was the impact of that name change in terms of visitation. So for the national park, they had a 21% increase, and the state park had an 8.6% increase in their revenues. The other way we're able to measure the success of the name change was at the visitor center, because this is the official visitor center for both our agency as well as the national park. And when we ended 2019, our visitation was 170,000, which was an 83% increase over the average since we've been open since 2006. That's significant. The other really critical piece of information that people do not know about the Indiana Dunes, and not only the Indiana Dunes, our area, is the Indiana Dunes National Park is the 5th most biodiverse national park in the country. So there's 419 national park units. Out of those 419 national park units, we are 5th in biodiversity. We just finished the draft version of the new Indiana Dunes orientation film, and I had a chance to recently look at that draft copy, and it is phenomenal. It does a great job of talking about our beaches, but it does a really fantastic job of taking that deeper dive and talking about the significance of the hiking and the biodiversity of the Indiana Dunes. And we are excited to be releasing this film in the next month or so. With the biodiversity, we are redeveloping the Beyond the Beach Discovery Trail. This is a trail that really takes a deep dive into that biodiversity story, but it goes beyond just the dunes. This is a story that connects the dunes to the Kankakee River and connects us with 6 other counties that are adjoining Porter County. When you think of our area, we are the crossroads to America. That is Indiana, that is. But our area in Northwest Indiana, we are the crossroads to biodiversity. And this project allows us to connect all of our communities together with this story, which we think is going to be significant in terms of economic impact. Now, I want to go into a little bit about our destination strengths. And the reason I want to talk about this is as we start to go into recovery, these strengths that we have in our destination are going to be a huge benefit to us as travel starts to increase year after year. And so I want to just quickly go over those strengths. First of all, we are known for outdoor adventures, and people love to be outdoors. This is a market that is continuing to grow, and this is a strength of ours. We are known for our beaches, and why this is positive is that there's a lot of destinations that people will travel to, and it's kind of like a one and done. Been there, done that, check that off my list. We are a beach destination, and beach destinations have the ability to bring visitors back. So we have the ability to bring back those repeat visitors, which is really a benefit to our area. But in addition to that, we also, because of our beaches, we do attract new visitors. So we have this great combination. Because of our location on Lake Michigan, we are a huge birding area, specifically in the spring and the fall during the bird migration from north to south and then from south to north. And people love to bird. It's a huge growing recreational activity, and people will come specifically to our area to see our birds. We like this is because it's a shoulder season activity both in the spring and the fall, so a great way to bring people during different times of the year. We have great paddling on Lake Michigan, Little Calumet River, and the Kankakee River. Hiking is a huge strength of ours. Not only the hiking trails within the dunes, but we have hiking trails throughout Porter County that you can go and try. And then, of course, we have bicycling. We have bicycling dedicated paths, the Dunes Kankakee Trail, the Prairie Duneland Trail, but we also have the bike routes that have been created that are on the roads that connect the Indiana Dunes all the way to Couts and Hebron. And a lot of people don't realize that we have world-class fishing right here in our destination. The fish that are in Lake Michigan, so you can go charter fishing, then those fish make their way into the Little Calumet River, and then we also have great fishing opportunities on the Kankakee. So people come here specifically because of our fishing opportunities. We're also a strong family destination. We also think that in the recovery, we will be more that generational travel where you have grandparents going with their kids, their grandkids, specifically because they have been separated during this time. We're also an inexpensive destination. Inexpensive in the sense that our biggest attraction, which is a national and state park, is not very expensive for people to experience, and we think that's going to bode well for us. And we're also a drive-in destination. You know, flying's going to be, it's not going to be taken off as quickly in the recovery, and so a lot of people will be looking for those destinations that are more, that can be accessed by the car. And because of our geographical markets, we are definitely a drive destination, which will bode well. Now, one of the things we've been talking about is the Indiana Dunes, and it's the Indiana Dunes that is that hook. It's the hook that's bringing in the visitors to our area. But what our job is to get them excited about the dunes, but then we want them to go south of the dunes and get into our communities. And that's where the real spending will take place. That's where they will go into the restaurants and the hotels and the shops and go to our festivals and events. That's where we have the opportunity to have that real economic impact. Now, one of the things we're going to start to talk about things, business strategies, but one of the things that the world of small businesses have to deal with, and you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, is that you wear a lot of hats. When you operate a small business, you are the jack of all trades, right? You are doing the human resources, you're doing the accounting, you do the inventory, you do the purchasing, you do the branding and the marketing and the product creation and the training. You do it all, and you work really long hours. So one of the things that there are things that we hear from businesses that they wish they could do this or that, but they just don't have the time. And so some of the tips that we're going to be giving today are tips that we think you can utilize during this time to really focus on those things about your business that you've been wanting to do. We hope these ideas are helpful tips. We are going to be giving you some examples of other places on some of the things that they're doing. But if you walk away with one or two tips, that could be very valuable. So the first tip is making sure that the information that we have on your business is correct. So when visitors get information from us, either from our website or our publications, we need to make sure that the information is accurate. So in the next couple of weeks, we are going to be sending out our database update sheet. The sheet will look like this. It will be filled in with your business's information. All we need you to do is review it, make any noted corrections, and then send it back. If there are no corrections, we still need you to send the sheet back so we know that everything that we have on your business is accurate. Some of you will also be receiving a letter from Surtech Incorporated. Surtech is our official company that we use for our economic impact reports. And this is an economic impact report that is on all of travel and tourism within Porter County. This one is really critical because it's going to be measuring the business activity from 2019. And that's the year we became a national park. And so we need this information to establish that benchmark of what the economic impact was because of that name change. So when you get the survey, there will only be a couple of questions. They will be specific to your type of business. So if you're a restaurant, they're restaurant questions. There's only a couple of questions, and it's about your information from 2019. When you get this survey, we ask that you would please take time to complete it. And then at the end of the year, we will have a full report, and that report is available to anyone who would like to get a copy. Another thing that you can do is join the Indiana Dunes Tourism Partner Group. Here's the link right here. This is an important group because this is where we are going to be communicating with our business community, and we're going to be asking questions, and this is an opportunity where we can share resources and just help each other out in terms of ideas and things that we can do now and in the future. Another thing we would recommend you do is Google your own business and see what kind of listings are coming up on your business, because there are third parties sites that have your business listed. And what we have encountered is we are seeing that the information is inconsistent. The other thing that we're seeing is businesses have not updated their information. So some businesses are saying they're open when in fact they're not. So I would encourage you, not only during this time, but just in general, to make sure you always Google your business to see how you're being reflected on those third-party sources, and then just making sure that you update that information so it's consistent across the board. So again, we are the Indiana Dunes. This is a powerful brand, and we think this brand, if embraced by our communities as well as our businesses, can really help drive additional business to you. So here's the brand. The brand is the Indiana Dunes, and our slogan is Indiana Dunes, Beaches, and Beyond. The Indiana Dunes is significant because the Indiana Dunes is not just about beaches, it's not just about Lake Michigan, and it's not just about sand dunes. It's also about that biodiversity. It's about the dunes in its full nature. But in addition to that, though, we do know that people are attracted to our area, especially in the summer, for the beaches. So we wanted to make sure that that beach component was addressed, that we do have great beaches at the Indiana Dunes. But the other really critical word is and beyond. Because again, our destination is not just the Indiana Dunes. It's about the restaurants, the hotels, the shopping, the events, the parks, and it's those amenities that make for a wonderful destination. And we want to make sure we get those visitors south of the dunes into our communities. And so this is a very strong brand that covers a lot of area. So let me just give you some economics of the dunes and where the real value comes in by embracing that Indiana Dunes brand. So we already know that that Indiana Dunes visitor is going south of the dunes and they're going to our hotels, they're going to our restaurants. But there are 3.6 million visitors at our peak. And so if we just got another additional 5% of those Indiana Dunes visitors to stay 2 nights in a hotel, that will be an additional of 34 million new dollars going into our communities. 34 million. That's if we just get an additional 5% of those dunes visitors. So some of the people will tell you that they're like, you know what, Lorelei, the Indiana Dunes are located in the north and we're located further from the dunes. We're further south of the dunes. And I just don't think that's a connection. Well, several years ago, we did a study with Temple University and we surveyed visitors in travel plazas on the toll road, as well as in community visitor centers like ours. And the question we asked visitors is if there was something that you wanted to experience that you learned about at a visitor center, would you be willing to go outside your travel plans? And if yes, how far would you travel? And 58% of the visitors said they would travel up to 50 miles for an unplanned side trip if it was something that they were interested in. So if a dunes visitor is coming here and this is actually their trip, they would think nothing to go 50 miles or beyond if it was something that they were interested in. So that means all of our communities can connect to this brand in addition to some communities outside of our area. So how can you connect to the brand? So here are some suggestions that we would encourage you to do. The first one is I told you about how strong that destination logo is. I would encourage you to get that destination logo on your website, your Facebook page, printed material, anything that you do. If you can try to get that brand added, that would be great. In addition to that, we have window clings that you can put on the windows or doors of your business so people know that you are part of Indiana Dunes country. Any messaging that you do. So if you do a Facebook post, you can say, we are part of Indiana Dunes. In your website, try to make sure people know that you're connected to the Indiana Dunes National Park and State Park. Try to use that language as much as you can because that is critical in establishing you in the search engine. So when people are looking up Indiana Dunes, you're wanting to be part of that search. You have product. I mean, a restaurant could have a Indiana Dunes burger, or a brewery could create the Indiana Dunes beer. You can be as creative as you want with that with that brand. And again, search engine optimization is so critical because that's how people find things that they're looking for, right? They're going to be looking for Indiana Dunes, and so you want to be connected to that brand. Now, I just want to talk about the value of the hotels. A lot of people do not realize that we have all these guests that are coming in for a variety of reasons. They're leisure travelers, they're coming in for a group meeting, they're coming in for sporting events, or they're business clientele. But what people don't realize is that front desk staff person at the hotels is also a destination ambassador. So those hotel guests will go up to the front desk and they'll say, you know what, I'm looking for a great restaurant to go to. Hey, I'm looking for a place to go shopping. Oh, you know what, I'm looking for something to do with my kids. Do you have any recommendations? They become that ambassador. They become that salesperson for the destination. And when I talk to businesses that are starting up, I always encourage them to form a relationship with our hotels because they are a great asset to your business and that cross marketing. The other thing that we want to stress is that content is king. What content is, and we'll call it creative content, is everything that represents your business. It's all the messaging you do from your Facebook to your Instagram stories, to your Pinterest, to your tweets, to all the messaging that you put on your website. That is all about messaging content. Then you have graphics, you have photos, you have videos. These are all those great things that work together. So I want to talk a little bit about messaging. Messaging is probably the most important thing that you could be doing for your business. One of the things that messaging includes, it's the information that you put on your website. It's the blogs, it's the posts that you do for Facebook or your Instagram story. It's storytelling about your business. It's your business description. It's the descriptions that you put for your product and service. Anything that's more on that written level is your messaging. Your messaging needs to focus on your customer. What is great when you put your messaging together, you have the opportunity to repurpose that in different areas. So something that maybe you did this great story about your business, you can repurpose that in sound bites on Facebook, on your Twitter, on your Instagram stories. So it's a great opportunity to repurpose that. I just wanted to give you a quick story about a pool company in California. What they did was they would do these blogs, and the blog content was specifically about how people could maintain their pools. What they didn't realize was as they're doing these blogs, people started, because of their expertise and the great tips that they were giving, their business started to increase just because of those blogs. So that's just the power of messaging. The other thing I would strongly consider is hiring a professional content writer. A lot of people don't realize messaging is so important, but it's not as easy as you think. And a content writer is a person who has good writing skills, but also knows how to use the proper keywords for your business. So I would strongly consider a professional content writer. The other thing that we would recommend during this time and is website development and maintenance. So if you have a website, we would encourage you to make sure you go back out there and look to see if it's updated. Also, when you go back to look at your website, make sure that you start to add that Indiana Dunes branding and wording and messaging to take full advantage of that brand. But if you don't have a website, and 36% of small businesses don't, we would encourage you to consider creating a website, and here's why. First of all, a website makes your business more professional. It's just the thing that when people know that you have a website, automatically they think you're more professional. The other important thing to know is that a lot of people don't have a website and use Facebook as their website. The problem with that is, first of all, there are people that don't have Facebook and are not using Facebook, and two generations that are really not using it. The millennials are declining in their usage of Facebook, and Gen Z is just not embracing Facebook. So it's really important to know that. If you do advertising, especially if you do advertisings outside of Facebook and Instagram, you need a place to link people to get more information. Even if you're doing advertising on Facebook, a lot of times you want to link them to a place where they can get more information, and that would normally be your website. Google Analytics is all the data that you get behind the scenes of your website, and it is extremely valuable to know that information, especially for how you modify your website and how you do your advertising. A website also helps you expand beyond your market and allows you to go beyond just being a local business. And again, in the marketplace right now, it allows you to promote and sell product on your website. It also gives you an opportunity to show off your style and your personality. One of the things that are really restrictive is when you use a third-party site like a Facebook or an Instagram, you're very restricted on what you can do in terms of your personality and your branding, right? They control what they allow you to do and not to do. And again, you can present a strong brand. Content is a commodity, and a website provides you all the space in terms of using this great commodity. Um, and again, it allows you to go beyond just being a brick and mortar, and it allows you to promote your brick and mortar location. What is nice today is that developing a website is very easy. These are some website builders. There's a lot of software that allows you to just easily build a website. They're very user-friendly. There are also 3 of them that are listed at the bottom that allows you to do e-commerce. The one that I'm most familiar with is Wix.com, but there's a lot that you can actually look at. What is nice, now this is from Wix.com, what is nice is that they have these wonderful templates for the website, templates for newsletters. What's nice about the newsletter is if you can really start to capture your customers' email addresses, then this is an opportunity for you to do direct communications with them about a new product, about a new menu item, just a lot of fun things that you can do. When the coronavirus hit, Wix sent me this email, and they immediately had created templates for businesses to quickly update their customers on what they were going to be doing during the COVID-19. So if you're a restaurant, it says, hey, we deliver to your door. So they already had those templates ready to go for you to be able to utilize. Now here's a local sample of an email blast. This was from Chesterton Feed. Again, they're not allowed to have their store open during this time. They're not considered essential. However, except that they do have a dog supply, so they do have some critical things, but they can still be open for delivery, and you can go in and pick up the item if you call ahead. And so here's their ad, and they're saying that on Thursday through Saturday of April 9th through the 11th, they're going to be selling dog food, and you get a nice coupon for that. So this is how they're using their email blast. The next thing we want to talk about is that advertising is always important, and just making sure that you can use advertising to get new customers through your doors. One of the things that's really important, if you've not done this, we would encourage you to do this, is really sit down and think about the customer that you currently have and what are those demographics and psychographics of that customer. What's their age? What do they like to buy? Where do they live? All of those critical things that you need to know, because when you know that, that will help you as you target your advertising. And so I just want to give you an example. This is the demographics of the visitors that come to Porter County. And so 70% of them are college graduates, 20% attended college. We know that 42% are professional, 14% are retired, and 13% are managers. We also know that their average household income is $89,000, and that the average median age is 36.9. We know from our research, especially as we compare it to other destinations nearby, that our age runs younger, and that's because we have such a strong family market. And the average travel party size is 3.5 people. Now, our marketing team uses this information as we put together our advertising and marketing programs. We also know that in 2019, we got visitors from 50 states and 64 different countries. But when you look at those green pins on the U.S. map, those are our main geographical markets. The biggest markets for us is the Chicago and Indianapolis, and then it's rounded out by Wisconsin, Michigan, and Ohio. So a lot of our advertising is going to be focused on those states. The other thing that is extremely valuable, and we've talked about this a couple of times, is search engine optimization. So what we do is we look behind the scenes of our website frequently, and we look at our Google Analytics. And one of the things we want to find out is what are those key search words that people are using to find our website. And these are some of the top phrases and words that they're using. Indiana Dunes hotels, Indiana sand dunes. You'll see a lot about Indiana Dunes. But we also have dining in Valparaiso and then restaurants in Chesterton. You can see some of our strong niches. People are looking for birding, they're looking for biking and fishing. So this gives us an indication of how people are finding us in those keywords that they're using. Here are some advertising samples. These are both restaurant samples that were Instagram ads. The one to the left is a cheeseburger, and it actually had a video component or some kind of animated component because the hamburger itself was actually rotating, which is a really cool effect. I like the ad to the right because it's talking about a restaurant opening event, and that could be something that restaurants can use when they reopen. And so it's not a new event. I mean, it's not a new restaurant, but it's a reopening, after we get through this time. One of the things we're hearing is that digital advertising right now, the pricing is very good. There's a large inventory because there's a lot of people who have literally shut down their advertising during this time, but there are people that are still advertising and have been effective. And the thing with the digital advertising, it is very targeted. So when I talk about really knowing who your customer is and really defining that person, that will help you be more targeted when you go out into the Instagram, the Facebook, and the Google advertising if you choose to go that route. When making ads like this, there are simple tools out there that can help you make some really cool ads. And the tool that we would recommend is Canva. You can do it for free. There obviously, if you want to, get a more robust part of Canva, you have to pay for it, but it is a free service, and I would encourage you to take a look at that. Here's some examples, like for example, this is the Renaissance Asheville page, and one of the things that they're talking about is, a getaway to Asheville and be able to enjoy the scenic views from their hotel. This other one in the below is a winter lodge, and what's nice about this ad is it's actually kind of giving you the breakdown of the ad itself and the key components to the specific ad. And then here's a resort ad in terms of, hey, they're going to have a summer deal of 30% off, and there's some packaging going on with that ad. So let's talk about social media, obviously a very effective tool and to utilize all the time. First of all, during this moment in time, we would encourage you to really focus on Facebook and Instagram for right now. Again, it's very important in your social media feeds to make sure that your information is updated, that if you do have changed, if you're closed or if you're doing delivery, just making sure that all of that is really crystal clear in your Facebook and Instagram. We're finding again that businesses are not updating that, and people are actually thinking a business is open when they find out it's not. So just want to make sure you keep that updated. Look at how other businesses are doing things on Facebook. It's always what's the best thing is to know the ideas that are worth stealing. Always be genuine and engage with your audience and your community. It's really important that if people are commenting on your social media that you respond, and you respond in that really good customer service. You may get some things that are negative, but it's always the rule of thumb is you need to respond to it, regardless if it's positive or negative. Use photography, and we're going to be talking about the value of photography a little bit later. Use hashtags to reach more followers, and then there's some apps that are listed that you may find beneficial. So here's the place that has some really good training tools for social media. The Social Media Examiner, they just are phenomenal in giving great resources for social media. So I would really encourage you to go there. And then we have listed the Facebook business training page, the Instagram marketing training page. We have also included Twitter and Pinterest, just in case you're interested in those two as well. Now, here's how you can connect to our social media. So first of all, connect with Indiana Dunes on social media, and here's the links to all of our social media, from Facebook to Instagram to Twitter and to Pinterest. Tag at Indiana Dunes on post about Indiana Dunes and the surrounding community. So remember to do that, tag at Indiana Dunes. And then if you do have an event, if you make Indiana Dunes a co-host, we will be able to add your event to our Facebook page. I would recommend you getting in touch with Michelle. So if you're wanting to, if you don't know how to add us as a co-host, just contact our staff and we'll help you do that. But that's the way we can get your event on our Facebook page itself. And then here are some tips. First of all, just be creative. Just play around with posting things and just see how people are responding. We do that. Some posts we think are going to get some great comments and it doesn't do anything. And then there's other posts we're like, oh my gosh, people love that. So be creative with that. Remember, it's about your customer. And so make sure that's at the top of mind. You can sell product on Instagram. A lot of ads are being done on Instagram. The younger followers are on Instagram. Create e-commerce on your website to be able to sell product on your website. Add a temporary phone line, especially if you're a restaurant you're getting inundated with calls. You may have to add a temporary phone line to make sure you can do the business. Host online events. We're going to show some samples of that. You can actually sell services online. Dance lessons, art classes, floral classes, decorating classes, fitness classes. Whatever your business is associated with, there is opportunities for you to do a lot of those services online. And then tell your story. I think that's a great opportunity to connect with your customer, not only in social media, but also on your website. There's a reason you went into the business that you went into. And so tell your story so people can learn more about who you are and why you opened up a restaurant or why you work at that hotel or why you opened up an art studio and so forth. It's valuable to the customer. Stay connected to your customer, and then also remember that as we start to come out of this, we have a large market that's called the VFR market. That's the Visiting Friends and Relative market. We have people that live in Porter County that are going to invite their friends and relatives to visit them. And we don't want them to leave the county. We want them to showcase Porter County to their friends and relatives. So we want the residents to be excited about what we have here and the reason that they live here. And we want them to be excited to showcase it to their friends and relatives. And so keep that in mind because that's also an opportunity for messaging. If you're a restaurant, these are just some ideas. We know that Takeout Tuesdays has become a national trend, but you can do your own takeout creative days, right? There could be Family Fridays, there could be Date Night Saturday, there could be picnics to go. A lot of people are going to want to be getting out and about, and our parks at this point are still open. That could change, but you do need to be mindful that people that are doing picnics, especially if they're going to be doing them on picnic tables at parks, they do need to take a table covering. Just so you need to remind them of that. You can do digital dining with family and friends, right? Grandma and grandpa can order their food and your family can order their food and you can have each other on your iPads and enjoy a digital dining experience with family and friends. And then you can also do chef demonstrations, drink demonstrations. There's all kinds of fun ideas that you can do. So here are some local samples that we wanted just to show you. This is one of our bed and breakfast. They just want to make sure they're still staying connected with their customers and the community. So they talked about the great takeout, and then they're known for their bird watching, and so they just posted a photo of a bird that was outside their window. And then this is the Hot Shop in Valparaiso. They're a glass art studio, and they had fun. They had their little Dino Bunny adventure, and the first person who texted $200 got the Dino egg, and that was a success. And then they normally do a golden Easter egg hunt in Valpo that they're not going to be able to do this year, so they're doing something else that's fun, and they're advertising their Easter eggs on their Facebook, and so I'm sure that this has been very successful as well. This is a hotel in Portage, and they're staying connected, right? Hey, when April 1st came, they just want to, remind people to stay healthy. So they have a Facebook page, and they're still staying connected with their guests. This is Running Vines in Chesterton, and they're doing trivia nights. And based on what I'm watching, these have been very successful. Again, just continuing to stay connected with their customer. The other fun thing they did was they took their winemakers and their winemakers rated their pantries, and they're showing you how you compare wine with what's in your pantry. And I mean, they've got Oreos, they've got Cheetos, Cheerios. So that was a fun video. And so these are just some fun, creative ideas. And then this is Main and Lincoln, a restaurant in Valpo, and what I liked is every day they had a different fun ad explaining some of the different food that they're going to be featuring that particular day. Again, these are ads that you can do on Instagram, you can do on Canva. So there's a lot of different resources that make it easy to do this type of creative ad. And this is the 219 Tap Room. What I liked about what they've done is they are closed until this is over, but they are posting and making sure they have that connection. But what was really cool about them is when they decided to make the decision to shut down, they put all the other places in Chesterton that were still going to remain open as far as restaurants and breweries, and really encouraged people to go and take it, take advantage and be customers of those other ones that are open. So just a great sense of community. The other thing we want to talk about is photography is really important in terms of your overall creative content. In fact, messaging is extremely important, but just as important is that photography. And we want to make sure that you know that Indiana Dunes Tourism offers free photography. We have thousands upon thousands of photos that are available for your usage. You just have to give us credit for the photo. But we actually have a professional photographer on our staff, and that's Christine Livingston. So we want you to take advantage of those photos. We are creating a photo gallery so that you'll be able to just look at the gallery and say, hey, I would love to use this photo or that photo. But until that is completed, if you want a photo, just contact us and we'll make sure that that happens. And then these are just some statistics on the value of photos. Facebook posts with images see 2.3 times more engagement than those without images. Visual content is 40 times more likely to get shared on social media than other types of content. 40 times. 67% of consumers consider clear, detailed images to be very important. And then research has found that colored visuals increase people's willingness to read a piece of content by 80%. So if you're really wanting your message to get out there, you've got to team it up with a dynamic photo. And then content with relevant images gets 94% more views than content without relevant images. Now, one thing, it can be intimidating. You may think, oh my gosh, I have to have a professional photographer, and that's not the case. If you have a smartphone, you're good to go. So we have put these two hot links in here, and these will take you to places that will give you some good tips on how to take photos that are going to be effective for your business. Now, just as photos are important, so is video content. So I showed you the one on the one video posting from Running Vines. Video is another critical thing that you should look into, and it's really important to know, again, you don't need a camera, you don't need a microphone, you don't need fancy editing software or lighting equipment or a script. Really, you just need a smartphone and follow these couple of tips in terms of being authentic, having an idea, and a heartfelt pitch. We have put some editing apps for you to look at. These are ones that you can do on your phone and are easy to use. So again, don't be intimidated. But to help take out the intimidation is we have provided these three sources that will help you in terms of doing more with video and give you some important tips on what to do with video. Now, we have an opportunity to really work together. We belong to a regional group, and our motto is, what can we do together that we can't do on our own? And there are so many ways that you can do so much more when you leverage your resources, and that's what we want to talk about next. I love this photo of ants because ants do not have a leader, but they're very hard workers and they just get the job done. And so I've included a hot link to the 5 leadership skills of ants. There's a lot to be learned from ants. So one of the things that we have an opportunity to do is to do cross-marketing. These brochure racks, this was an idea that came out of the Chesterton Branding Leadership Team. Mark Hopkins, who owns Ace Hardware, his family goes to Door County all the time, and he said it doesn't matter what shop or restaurant they go into, and it could be a very, very small shop. They all have brochure racks, and they're always cross-promoting each other. So Chesterton is purchasing these racks. They received a grant from us that will pay for half of them, and then the business who wants to put the rack in pays for the other half. Then the business is also responsible for creating a brochure rack card, and then they're going to put those rack cards in each other's businesses. So they're going to cross promote each other. And this is a program we would love to see in our other communities, and we would want to give you a grant to help you with that as well. So the brochures is one way. And one of the things, it's really important when we're talking about cross marketing, we need to understand that we are not in competition with each other. Working together is going to make us stronger. And not only are we not competition within our communities, but we're also not competition among our communities. We are all one destination, and it would be great to not only co-market the businesses within a community, but to also co-market the different communities and circulate people throughout the destination, which is awesome. The other thing is you have an opportunity to help each other out. So when you're doing Facebook posts, you can share information from your other fellow businesses and maybe, share posts or do just different opportunities where you can talk about each other. You can also do co-op advertising where, you share advertising, and it lowers the cost for you, and you can be more effective and do more together when you leverage. The other thing is we don't know what this looks like, but it would be a great opportunity to figure out how we can start to learn about each other, right? Wouldn't it be great that we know what the other stores are about, what the restaurants are about, so that we have firsthand knowledge about the different businesses, and that will definitely help us as we cross-promote each other. The other opportunity is to create travel packages. What a travel package is it tries to make travel planning easier for the end user, which is the visitor. So in this particular situation, this came from TripAdvisor. It was basically putting two elements together. It was putting the airplane and the hotel together. A lot of times if you use the third-party online travel agents like the Expedia or the Orbitz, if you buy like a plane ticket, then they'll say, hey, would you like to add a rental car? Oh, and by the way, would you like to add a hotel? Oh, and by the way, would you like to add an attraction? What they're doing is they're allowing you to put your itinerary together. Well, we can do that in the destination ourselves. We can create travel packages. And the key component is the hotel. So the hotel sells the package, but included in that package could be, and what they call them in this package that I'm giving you a sample on, they're calling it dining dough, right? So what the hotel would do is have dining dough in that package, and that dining dough would list the different restaurants that voucher could be used at. And if you're one of those restaurants that has teamed up with that hotel, and that visitor comes into your restaurant and gives you the vouchers, what you simply do is collect them, give them back to the hotel, and then the hotel gives you the money for that value. Okay? It's a great program because it's a great cross promotion. It's an opportunity for hotels and restaurants and attractions, or hotels, restaurants, and shops to partner in. You can do any kind of package that you want. So on the next page, these are some packages that you could do. So for example, there could be a romance package. I would be making this one as a priority, especially after so many people have been in hibernation with their kids. They may just be wanting to, once this is done and and the kids and grandparents can get back together, they may want to be looking for a romance package. So you can do a romance package. You can do birding. We have been in discussions with the Indiana Dunes State and National Park. They are wanting to be a part of this, and so you can include an Indiana Dunes package that includes a pass to the state park and or the national park. So we have a lot of different things that you can do. You can do a family package. You can do a girlfriend's getaway package. There's all kinds of packages that you can do. So what the next steps are is determining who wants to do packaging. Identify the partners, identify the pricing, and then start to promote it. So the hotels can promote it, we would promote it, and the different partners would promote it. So it creates a great synergy of cross promotion. Where we come in is we can help identify the partners. So if you are a hotel and you want to put together a family package and you want to include like the 49er Drive-In or the Zao Islands, we can help contact those folks to see if they would be interested. That's where we can provide a lot of value. And then we're also going to be assisting on the Indiana Dunes State and National Park Voucher Program. So we would love to be a part of this, and we're hoping to do a webinar just on packaging. So what are we doing to help you? So this is our staff, and it's really our full-time staff, our destination ambassadors, and all of our volunteers. We have wonderful volunteers that assist us, and a lot of the folks in the photo are our volunteers. So as the official destination marketing organization, this is basically a look at our marketing plan. And so we're going to continue to move this forward. We're going to do a lot of guerrilla marketing, which is meaning guerrilla marketing is where you're doing a lot of marketing, but you're doing it on a very tight budget and a limited budget. But we're going to continue to do the things that we normally do, right? And we're just going to continue to be more creative and find avenues that we can do some things that are not going to be as costly. And then we are a couple of more critical things for you to know. We are going to be launching our new website. We are excited. This is going to be coming online any day now. We have free services for your businesses, which will be, we will promote those travel packages. We will have digital coupons. So if you're wanting to do coupons, make sure you take advantage of that resource. We have brochure distribution at the visitor center. One of the challenges we face is we have a hard time getting the quantity of brochures from businesses. So if you do a cross brochure distribution, cross marketing program in your community, and the businesses are creating those rack cards, make sure that you print enough quantity to get some to the visitor center. And then you get your business listings if you're a visitor related business on our website and in our guides. And that's why that database sheet is so important, because we need to make sure the information we have on you is correct. And then we are going to be producing community videos this year. This is a project we started last year, so it's already been paid for. And this is an important project because we're going to be updating all the community videos. And again, we want to make sure visitors know about our communities, and so that they're excited that once they've had that Indiana Dunes experience, that they want to get into our communities where they're going to go to your businesses. We're going to hopefully be a part of the package coordination again, and we're going to help identify those partners, and we are going to be working with the National and State Park on their voucher program. We may be offering additional training programs. We're going to find out if this is something that you guys want. So say, for example, you want to know more about just Facebook advertising. You know, if it's something of interest to you, then we would be happy to do some training specifically on those topics. And then we're going to continue to advertise both locally and outside the area when the time is right. So those are some helpful tips. We hope you found this valuable. Again, we just want to remind you that this is available in PDF. It will be, again, if you look at it electronically, a lot of those sources that we gave you will take you directly to those sources. If you are interested in a PDF copy and you don't have one, please get in contact with Julie Brown at julie@indianadunes.com. So, as we conclude this time, I think one of the most valuable things that will come out of this is that we will work together even stronger. I mean, we have awesome partnerships. We get to work with so many great businesses, and we're just looking forward to having those relationships go even deeper and stronger. And so, don't take the phrase lightly that we're in this together, because we truly are in this together. Thank you.